House of Representatives has urged the Federal Ministry of Finance and the Nigerian Customs Service to provide a detailed explanation of the methodology and criteria used in determining 2% import surcharge remittances. They further called for the publication of a transparent framework for calculating and implementing the surcharge in line with the provisions of the Raw Materials Research and Development Council Act 2022. Additionally, the House directed Federal Ministry of Finance to ensure the accurate calculation and immediate remittance of all outstanding arrears of the 2% input surcharge to the RMRDC. This resolution followed the adoption of a motion moved by Honorable Aliu Abdullahi, who expressed concern over persistent irregularities in the calculation and remittances of surcharge to RMRDC.
Representing the good and peaceful people of Ikara, Kubo Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker, I'm from Kaduna State. I rise to move a motion on the need to clarify the irregularities in the remittance of a 2% surcharge on import Council, the RMRDC, by the Nigerian Customs Service and the Federal Ministry of Finance in line with RMRDC Amendment Act 2022. The House notes that the Raw Materials Research and Development Council, RMRDC, was established in 1987 under the Science and Technology Act, CAPR3-LFN 2004, to reduce Nigeria's dependence on imported raw materials. Also notes that its primary mission was to promote research, development, and utilization of locally available raw materials to stimulate industrial growth and economic diversification. Aware that the RMRDC Act was repealed and reenacted in 2022, with the import surcharge increased from 1% to 2% to adequately fund the Council's operations and mandate. Further aware that the Nigerian Customs Service, the Federal Ministry of Finance, and the Budget Office are responsible for ensuring the accurate collection, remittance, and budgeting of the 2% surcharge to enable the Council to plan and execute its statutory obligation effectively. Concerned that there are persistent irregularities and a lack of clarity in the calculation of the remittance of the 2% import surcharge to RMRDC. Further concerned that presently the Raw Materials Research and Development Council is being paid a negligible amount of about 0.05%, of which sources cannot be defined, and lack of transparency and accountability in the remittance process contravenes the intent and provision of Section 121B of the RMRDC Act 2022. Worried that these irregularities or discrepancies, the lack of clarity created in the disbursement of the fund, arbitrarily void the provision or the law and have greatly hampered the development of the nation and continue to serve as a clog in the wheel of progress. The House resolved to urge the Federal Ministry of Finance and the Nigerian Customs Service to provide a detailed explanation of the methodology and criteria used in determining the 2% import surcharge remittance and publish a transparent framework for calculating and implementing the 2% surcharge in compliance with the RMRDC's Act 2022. To call on the Federal Ministry of Finance to ensure accurate calculation and immediate remittance of all areas of the 2% surcharge to the RMRDC. Also to mandate the committees on science research institutions, finance, and customs to investigate the irregularities and report back to the House within 4 weeks. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
In a separate resolution, the House also directed the Federal Ministry of Health, the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, and the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency to enforce mandatory diphtheria immunization, testing and treatment in healthcare facilities across all 774 local government areas of the country. Furthermore, the House tasked Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation to intensify public sensitization campaigns on the dangers, symptoms and modes of transmission of diphtheria in a bid to curb its spread and prevent further fatalities. This followed the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance moved by Honorable Beatrice Lowry, who lamented that diphtheria continues to thrive in Africa due to low vaccination coverage. He observed that the disease remains virtually absent in countries such as the United States and those in Europe, where vaccination rates are high, stressing that diphtheria primarily threatens unvaccinated individuals, especially those who travel internationally or come in contact with infected persons.
Alarm that from May 2022 to February 2025, Nigeria has reported 41,978 suspected cases of diphtheria from Bauchi, Borno, Jigawa, Kaduna, Katsina, with Kano and Yobe states accounting for the highest number, 24,062 and 5,330 respectively. Most cases were within the ages of 1 to 14, and only 19.7% were fully vaccinated, resulting in 1,279 deaths within this period.
The House of Representatives also passed bills to amend the North Central, South-South, Southwest and Southeast Development Commissions Act 2025.
The Housing Committee of the Whole considered the report on the bill for an act to amend the North Central Development Commission Act 2025 and for related matters and approved clauses 1 to 4, explanatory memorandum and the long title of the bill. Most distinguished colleagues, the House in the Committee of the Whole considered a report on a bill for an act to amend the South-South Development Commission Act 2025 and for related matters and approved clauses 1 to 4, explanatory memorandum and the long title of the bill. It is the Chairman's report that the House and Committee of the Whole considered a report of the Committee on Federal Polytechnics and Higher Technical Education on the bill for an act to amend the Polytechnics Act Cap F17 Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004 to establish Federal Institute of Technical and Vocational Education in Meko, Ogun State for the purpose of providing qualitative education in technical education and vocational education and for related matters, and approve clauses 1 to 35, explanatory memorandum and the long title of the bill. Finally, it is the Chairman's report that the House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Federal Polytechnics and Higher Technical Education on the bill for an act to establish Federal Vocational and Skills Acquisition College, Yakamba, Kano State, to provide for research, teaching, instruction and training on vocational and skills acquisition and for related matters, and approve clauses 1 to 22, the schedules, explanatory memorandum and the long title of the bill.